Good morning and what's going on? Welcome to another Subie Shaves video with me on a beautiful day. Hashtag Team All Blade and hashtag No Blade Left Behind. Come on in, throw me a Subie smile, and all I gotta say is squad goals. Thank you for being here, for clicking in today's video, and for joining me. Hopefully wherever you're watching from, you're drinking something cold, sitting in a comfy chair, ready for a shave. I'm really excited to be doing today. It's gonna be awesome. It's a shave I've been looking forward to. I've got just over 4 days of growth, and we're gonna be using the Alpha Outlaw. This is the Viper handle variation, the Viper, flat spiral. Look at the spirals here, variation on the handle. It's a 69-ish gram razor. It is flat on the surface here on the base plate, but it's actually a 3-pin system. It fully encapsulates the blade tabs. I want to call this out first and foremost. It's a titanium safety razor. It's 3 pieces and it's absolutely beautiful with the way those scallops are designed. This is his 2023 re-envisionment of his original design. There's some revisions that have happened, some changes, and overall I want to talk about the razor, how it's produced, how it's been kind of experienced by the community, how it's been taken in by the community, and some of the the things that have changed the razor and the performance behind it. I'm also really excited to see how it does on the dome shave today, because on the face, I'm telling you this, it absolutely knocked it down to the ground. It was super close, really comfortable, even with several days growth, right? And it was very, very, very easy, maneuverable, and enjoyable. I mean, it was one of those almost too good to be true type of shaves for me so far. So I'm really excited to see how this does on the dome shave. Should be absolutely awesome. I wanted to highlight the brand new, just re-release, they just dropped this back on their website. This is Tierra Mojada. I know I'm brutalizing that. It's absolutely beautiful. I love this label. Take a look. It's almost like apocalyptic, dystopian style. I love the gas mask. You got the cube here in the corner, and then you have the shimmer effect going on. I love this label. Did I mention that? I love the green. It's it almost looks like it glows. Absolutely beautiful. It's supposed to smell like rain. For me, it smells like rain on a beautiful desert. You have a desert kind of scape, and then I get the kind of like an ozone. It has a beautiful hydrangea and cactus kind of smell to it. That's really, really nice. I know it's actually set up on patchouli and vetiver kind of base that I think it does come through on the scent. But overall, the petitgrim, the neroli, I like the juniper in this. It's a really, really enjoyable, very clean smelling, fresh smelling. For me, like I said, it smells like wet desert earth. I love this scent. It's actually a soap I purchased several years ago, and it kind of started my experience, my journey with the Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements brand with Doug over it. I was just so fascinated with the brand after smelling this, because it's his kind of own scent, right? He made this, he blended it, and I think it smells really interesting and unique compared to stuff on the market. And I was like, well, what else can this guy do? I absolutely love this. Again, Tierra Mojada, beautiful, on his website and currently for sale. And again, this is not this year's version. I bought this several years ago. I just really enjoy it, and I wanted to share why and kind of give you the set notes that I experienced personally. The lather today was done with my Maritime, Brennan over at Maritime brush, his brush, and my Phoenix Dreamscape scuttle. You can see here, take a look. It's thick, it's rich, it's hydrated. It's that CK6 goodness. No bubbles, no problems. Really, really rich, dense, but slick and thick lather. I absolutely love this stuff. And again, with Brennan's brush, it just lathers so nicely. It was super easy to do. And for me, I like this soap because after I lather it, right, I can just walk away, I can go do a bunch of things, come back, and it's still perfect. I just cannot tell you what a cheat code and what a nice opportunity is every single time I use a CK6 line of soap. They just turn out so good for me. And the post shave, for me personally, has always been been really, really top tier, really good, just quality stuff. All right, let's get in here. Let's talk about it. I'm thrilled to be doing this. This is a premium razor with a more premium price tag, $260-ish with the longer handle, right? It does change depending on the length of handle you order. The razor has received 300% more blade clamping against his original variation. So if you have an older one, right, this one is now clamping the blade slightly better, according to Steve. Tolerances have been increased. The total razor is actually it's created very, very meticulously by Steve, and I actually have calipers showcasing from Steve himself how tight the tolerances are. I'll have that running on the side here because I think that's really cool. I think it shows how committed he is to his product. I think it shows that he cares. I think it shows that he is a person that stands behind his product and that he knows every inch and every aspect of it. Really cool. Steve is kind of a person in the community that's received, differing opinions, right? I think he's a personality, and I think he's a person that I think his passion boils towards the surface, right? Kind of like me. I just let it all kind of get out there, and I think Steve's similar, and I think that's not always received maybe the best, but as far as making razors goes, you can see attention to detail is second to none. The polish on it is gorgeous. It could be stainless steel because of how shiny this razor really is. One of the things I noticed when I first unboxed this razor is that the scallops go all the way across here. Do you see how those scallops go all the way across the bar? The bar has received a redesign, but I like that. I thought that was really interesting that you have this bar that goes all the way across. When you look at the Blackbird, right? When you look at that Blackbird, you see how those scallops don't go all the way through? These are a little deeper. They're a little more circular. I thought the scallops were really interesting, to be honest. When I looked at the razor on the website for Alpha, I thought those scallops were going to be more like this. This is the Parker, right? Very similar to the Merkur Progress styled scallops, and I thought they'd be similar, but they're not. Look how deep. They're really deep. They're well-rounded. You can't really feel them on the skin too much. Honestly, as I was comparing them side by side, look at the Barbasol floating head here and look at it compared to Steve's Alpha Outlaw. Do you see this? They're very similar, right? Almost like, they're different, but very similar. And I love the Barbasol floating head razor. And I think those scallops, you can fill them with that razor. And I think you can almost see that similarity here. The Dracont razor, right? Also, look at the scallops do not go all the way across where they do on Steve's. And you can just see that, right? I think that really makes this razor stand out. It makes it look unique. I think it makes it look regressive, right? That's one thing about Steve's razor with that spiralized knurling, right? On this Viper handle. Oh, it just really, really looks nice. It looks classy. It looks aggressive. It looks, to me, it looks really well done. And I love the fact that even though this is a three-piece razor, or three-pin razor, excuse me, it's flat on the bottom side here. I think that makes it also kind of stand out, makes it look really, really pretty. Against the first version, I want to call this out, is a lot of people mentioned that they had problems loading the razor. It didn't load straight for them. And I actually received this razor as a secondary purchase. I bought it used. And I always give credit to the manufacturer when I'm doing that. There may be issues with the razor from the person sending it to me. And as I kind of went in and I started looking at the razor, I just wanted to test it out before I started talking about it. And it left me brutalized. I took photos because I don't ever get that beat up. I didn't have any problems during the shave, but post-shave wise, my skin was raw. It was irritated. It was really uncomfortable. I reached out to Steve and I said, hey, is there anything I'm not seeing here? There appears to be maybe a cantered blade. There's something going on. I don't know. The razor looks like it's in perfect shape, but it's not loading from my eye straight. And I got in there this morning and you can see he sent me a replacement razor, and the replacement head cap and base plate look to be perfect. So I don't know what's going on with that razor. It did not provide a good shave, at least post-shave wise, but this one is night and day difference. The neck shave today was the first thing I really noticed, because when I tested it before, I was bleeding everywhere. It was just, it was really raw. It was really irritated. And the problem with a cantered blade is you don't know it's cantered, right? At least until post-shave, right? At least I don't. Like, the way it feels smooth, it feels really good. And then the post-shave happens and you start seeing those blood spots kind of appear. That means, for me at least, the blade wasn't straight. I did some QC with that, and I did get that. I did see that it wasn't straight. It was very, very marginally, micrometerly off. and because of that, it had problems. So today I was very apprehensive when I was talking with Steve. He said blades matter a ton, obviously, right? His razor's produced at 0.05 millimeter of tolerance, whereas blades are not. And he said, some blades don't go as good in my razor. He even mentioned that himself. I said I love Darby's. He said, those don't always load perfectly in that razor. I'm sure they're crappy blades, tolerance-wise. I love them. They feel really good across the skin for me, but I agree, the tolerance on them, right? That's why Leaf no longer supports that blade, because that blade is tolerance-wise kind of all over the place. Overall, 6% lower weight is, like I said, 300% more blade clamping ability. I think that they've made some real updates. I know it went through 3 different prototypes from the first generation. One of the ones that Steve actually did had so much exposure, it was wild. This exposure is actually almost neutral with the way that they've made changes to the cap. They opted to choose a little bit more modern design. As you can see, it's a little square, a little more square here, whereas before it's a little more rounded. And he also opted to increase the blade post length because of some of the problems people were saying on the actual loading. Again, I'm not having any problems with the loading on this one, but the used one that I received did have some small slight issues that caused the razor, I would say, to have a poor performance. I'm excited to see how this does. Let's do it. Again, 260-ish bones, and then you're at $50 for the actual little stand. So it's not a cheap razor by any means, but you can see again that Steve has really put a lot of effort and time into the design. I can just tell you first and foremost, with this amount of growth, right? We're 4 days of growth here. We have a lot. The razor is performing very smoothly. It is shaving very closely, and there is more blade fill than with the first time I used it, a lot more. And like I said, this is the first time I'm really using the razor, because the one I'm sending the other one back to Steve for him to do further analysis on because of the problems that I was experiencing. And so this is really, really nice. I really, really enjoy this razor. I received a bunch of people's requests as I was doing the Kant razor, right? And they said, how is it compared to Steve's razor? And then my buddy, I have a really good friend who loves his Alpha Outlaw. He has a first generation, and he's like, one of my favorite razors. And I had never used one. And I was like, okay, well, if you say, I really value and admire this person. I said, if you say it's really good, I will go get one and I will try it out. One popped up on the marketplace, and I said to myself, I'd love to try it out. So I'm really excited to have one for head shaving. I hate when companies have blade tabs exposed. Personally, I tend to use those razors a lot less. And because this razor covers them, I was really excited about it. It did kind of lead and open up some interesting thought processes because of the way it's designed, right? It is that 3-pin system, much like what YATES does. Very similar to what YATES does, right? With the Dracon for Ellsworth and the titanium 921, right? All of Jake's razors use that style system, the 3-pin system. And I started kind of playing around with this one, and I was like, holy cow, they actually can go together. So you can do some funky Frankenstein nonsense with this razor, which also makes me it makes it one of the razors I want to use, right? I like razors where you can kind of put things together that they shouldn't go together. Blend ideas. I think that's fun. I don't know. I think it's weird. I think it's interesting. I enjoy trying out things that never hit the market because 2 different people made them. Sometimes you find out that something works really, really well, blending 2 people's ideas. Sometimes better than the one by itself. Sometimes. Awesome shaver here. I'm thoroughly liking that a lot. The lather today is just producing so much absolute protection. Like, my skin is so happy. And why this gets me really, really excited is because it's so much better than my first shave, my first test shave. And again, I want to just call this out. I don't know what happened. I don't know if I don't believe it's the seller's issue. I don't know if it was, in shipment something happened. I don't know if, when things went together, if it just got tweaked. I can't say. Could have been actually off the entire time, right, when it was made. That's my working theory, is because it was so marginal that it was off. It was probably always a little bit off. I know when I actually spoke with Steve about his return rate, right, I said, I don't want to ask for a return here. I bought this used, but I was curious to know and find out that he's only ever warranted one of these. Does that not scream about the quality of the razor he is selling? He has only ever warranted a single one, and it was due to surface finish. It was not based on tolerance. So I think that really says a lot about what we're holding in my hand right here, as far as how good it is. The shave is, I would say, medium aggressive. I read online that people said that it was aggressive. I do not believe this razor is an aggressive razor. I can't say that in my experience today. This does not feel aggressive in the slightest. I would say, if anything, it is medium aggressive, and that it's, I would say, on the higher side of efficiency. We have that much growth, that much like just caked on stubble, right? That really thick, nasty stubble, and it's gone. We are close, we are comfortable, and it didn't take a ton of buffing. The Jacquot razor, right, takes a little bit more buffing. The some of the more mild razors that I've used, like I would say, like my YATES on the more low end of the plates. Even the carbon razor, right, took a lot more buffing. I would put that as a more medium performance. This for me is a way higher performance as far as that shave goes. Really close. Very comfortable. Oh my goodness. This is what I needed, and this is what I was really hoping to get with the Alpha Outlaw Evolution razor. Based on reviews, you see them all the time in Shave of the Days, and I think the reason why is because they shave really well. I think they fit much more what people are looking for as like the larger portion of the segment, right? A more medium aggressive, high end on the efficiency side, kind of offset, right? I think is what most people are looking for. And I think it really fits well in that category. I would, again, not say it's aggressive razor, but it is efficient. Look at the shave here. Ooh, that was worth it. Oh, Steve, if you're watching, I just want to give you a huge thanks and a massive shout out for warranting a product that didn't come directly from you. Thank you for owning and being a company that, in the end of the day, stands by the product regardless. I really, really like this razor, and I think it absolutely speaks to your testament and to your appreciation of the craft, that it was warranted, replaced, and that this one really does work as good as everyone says it does. Awesome razor right here. When you look at it compared to other ones at the same price point, it's kind of crazy how much personality these still have, right? They're all good shavers, but they have their own individual personality. I'd say this one is really, really smooth, but not quite as, like, I would say, forgiving. You can tell this is still when you want to use a delicate hand width. So you do have that medium blade fill, which is really nice, considering that, again, it's almost a neutral blade exposure. It's a rounded cap, so you can really get in there and fiddle with the angle. For me, I was probably smoothest at like the 28 degree angle, even though the cap is very steep. It is a high steep profile as far as like the actual height of the razor. It's just something I noticed personally, but you don't really feel it on the skin. It's surprising. It's actually pretty nimble for the size of the actual profile on the head. What a good shave. I kind of waited a little second. I wanted to see how that shave felt as the splash was going on in just different spots on my head. It is super close. You can see we didn't have any problems getting right up against my ear, which I was like, I'm not sure if it's going to work quite as good here because of the profile. Again, I was just not positive that this was going to fit everywhere, and it does. Awesome shaver. I am thrilled to have had you here for it. Thank you for joining me. If you haven't, please go below. I'd love to see you guys in the comments. I'd love to go back and forth. And if you haven't, please hit the sub button. It does help the channel immensely. Until I see you guys again, I'm going to get out and enjoy a perfect shave with one of my favorite scents of, well, at least the Phoenix Artisan line of summer. It was awesome. Thanks again for being here. I'll catch you in the next one. Soups. Ow.